Welcome back to Smart Garden, fellow gardening enthusiasts. There's nothing quite like biting into that first sun-warmed homegrown tomato of the season. The anticipation, the flavor, the satisfaction of knowing you nurtured that plant from seed to harvest. It's pure gardening magic. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most crucial aspects of tomato growing that can make or break your early harvest dreams: timing your planting perfectly. Timing truly is everything when it comes to growing tomatoes for an early harvest. These warm weather champions are incredibly sensitive to temperature fluctuations, and understanding this sensitivity is your key to success. When you plant at the optimal time, you're essentially giving your tomatoes the longest possible growing season while protecting them from the devastating effects of late spring frosts. Consider this scenario: you're eager to get started and plant your tomatoes too early, perhaps seduced by a few warm days in early spring. Suddenly, an unexpected frost sweeps through and your tender seedlings are damaged or killed outright. You've lost weeks of growing time and must start over. Conversely, if you wait too long to plant, you're shortening your growing season significantly. In regions with shorter summers, this delay could mean the difference between harvesting ripe tomatoes and watching green fruits struggle to ripen before the first fall frost arrives. The sweet spot lies in understanding your local climate patterns and working with nature's rhythm rather than against it. When you nail this timing, your tomatoes will establish strong root systems, develop robust foliage, and channel their energy into producing those coveted early fruits that will have your neighbors asking for your gardening secrets. Before you even think about planting, you need to become intimately familiar with your USDA plant hardiness zone. This isn't just gardening trivia, it's really the foundation of successful tomato growing. Your hardiness zone determines your average last frost date, which is the cornerstone date around which all your tomato planting decisions revolve. Finding your zone is pretty straightforward. Simply search online for USDA hardiness zone map and enter your zip code. You'll discover whether you're in Zone 3 with its harsh, long winters, or perhaps Zone 9 with its mild winter temperatures. Each zone corresponds to different average last frost dates, ranging from late May in northern zones to early March in southern regions. However, don't rely solely on averages. Local microclimates can vary significantly even within the same zone. Your garden might be in a frost pocket that stays cold longer, or maybe it's on a south-facing slope that warms up weeks earlier than the surrounding areas. Connect with local gardening groups, visit nearby nurseries, and talk to experienced gardeners in your area. They'll provide invaluable insights about when it's truly safe to plant tomatoes in your specific location. So, it's really important to keep detailed records year after year. Make sure you note the actual last frost date in your garden, not just the average for your zone. Over time, you'll develop an intimate understanding of your garden's unique climate patterns, which will allow you to fine-tune your planting schedule for maximum success. Not all tomatoes are created equal when it comes to early harvest potential. The variety you choose can significantly impact when you'll be enjoying your first ripe tomato of the season. Early maturing varieties are your best friends in the quest for an early harvest, typically producing ripe fruit in 50 to 70 days from transplanting. When browsing seed catalogs or plant tags, pay close attention to the days to maturity, or DTM, information. This number tells you how many days it takes from transplanting, not seeding, to harvest. Varieties like Early Girl, which takes about 50 to 60 days, Stupice, around 60 to 65 days, and Subarctic Plenty, at just 45 days, are excellent choices for early harvests. These varieties have been specifically bred to perform well in cooler conditions and shorter growing seasons. Determinate varieties often provide earlier harvests than indeterminate types because they focus their energy on producing a concentrated crop rather than continuous growth. While indeterminate varieties will eventually produce more fruit over a longer season, determinates get you those crucial early tomatoes when you're craving that first taste of summer. Consider your local growing conditions when making variety selections. If you live in an area with cool, short summers, cold-tolerant varieties developed in similar climates will serve you better than heat-loving southern varieties. Research varieties that were developed in regions with climate conditions similar to yours, as these will be naturally adapted to perform well in your environment. Starting your tomato seeds indoors is perhaps the most effective strategy for achieving an early harvest. This technique allows you to gain a crucial 6 to 8 week head start on the growing season, essentially extending your tomato growing period regardless of your outdoor climate limitations. Alright, so to kick off your indoor seed starting adventure, you'll want to begin about 6 to 8 weeks before your average last frost date. Make sure you use a high-quality seed starting mix and of course clean containers that have adequate drainage. It's super important to maintain consistent soil temperatures between 70 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit for the best germination, which usually happens within 5 to 10 days if conditions are just right. And honestly, a seedling heat mat can be a real game changer for keeping those temperatures steady, especially if your home tends to be on the cooler side. Once your seedlings pop up, they're going to need plenty of light to grow into strong, sturdy plants. Even though a south-facing window might seem like it should do the trick, it usually doesn't provide enough light intensity, and that can leave you with weak, leggy seedlings. So, it's definitely worth investing in LED grow lights, and you'll want to position them about 2 to 4 inches above your seedlings, giving them 14 to 16 hours of light each day. As your plants grow, just remember to adjust the height of the lights so you keep that ideal distance. The hardening off process is, honestly, crucial, and it's something a lot of eager gardeners tend to overlook. About 2 weeks before you plan to transplant your seedlings, start gradually introducing your indoor-grown plants to the outdoors. Begin with just an hour or two outside in a sheltered spot, and then slowly increase their exposure over 7 to 10 days. This step really helps toughen up your plants and reduces transplant shock, making sure your carefully nurtured seedlings make a successful transition to life in the garden. Soil temperature is just as important as air temperature when it comes to successful tomato transplanting. Even if daytime air temperatures are warm, cold soil will shock your transplants and significantly slow their establishment. Soil temperatures should consistently reach 60 degrees Fahrenheit or higher before transplanting, with 65 to 70 degrees being ideal for rapid root development. You can warm your soil more quickly by using black plastic mulch or row covers in the weeks leading up to transplanting. These materials absorb solar energy and transfer it to the soil, effectively extending your growing season by warming the earth faster than it would naturally warm in spring. When transplanting day arrives, choose a calm, overcast day if possible. Bright, windy conditions stress transplants and increase the likelihood of transplant shock. Dig your planting holes slightly deeper than the root ball and bury a portion of the stem. Tomatoes have the remarkable ability to develop roots along their buried stems, creating stronger, more robust root systems that support better plant performance throughout the season. Water your transplants thoroughly immediately after planting and consider using a diluted liquid fertilizer to help reduce transplant shock. Apply a layer of organic mulch around the plants, keeping it a few inches away from the stems to prevent pest and disease issues while conserving soil moisture and moderating soil temperature fluctuations. Even with perfect timing, late spring weather can be pretty unpredictable, and having protection strategies in place can really save your early harvest dreams from those unexpected cold snaps. Row covers, wall-of-water systems, and plastic tunnels can provide crucial protection during those transitional weeks when temperatures swing between warm days and cool nights. Row covers made from lightweight fabric allow light and moisture to get through, while still giving several degrees of frost protection. They're especially effective when you support them with hoops, creating a sort of mini greenhouse effect around your plants. For more substantial protection, you might want to consider using clear plastic sheeting supported by a frame though. You'll need to provide some ventilation on warmer days to prevent overheating. Wall-of-water systems and water-filled tomato cages actually take advantage of water's thermal mass properties. During the day, the water absorbs heat from the sun and then releases that heat slowly during those cooler nights, which helps moderate temperature swings around your plants. These systems can offer protection down to about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, making them super valuable for extending the planting season when spring weather is all over the place. It's a good idea to establish your support systems early in the season, whether you like cages, stakes, or trellises. Strong support becomes more and more important as your plants get bigger and start producing those heavy fruit loads. Installing supports at planting time helps prevent root damage that can happen if you try to add supports around established plants. Success with early tomato harvest really comes from combining all these elements into a cohesive strategy that's tailored to your specific growing conditions. It's helpful to keep detailed garden records, noting planting dates, variety performance, weather patterns, and harvest dates. This information becomes super valuable for refining your approach each season, and over time, achieving even earlier harvests. Consider succession planting to extend your harvest window. Plant a second round of early varieties 2 to 3 weeks after your first planting. This staggered approach ensures continuous harvests rather than a single overwhelming flush of ripe tomatoes. Remember that consistency and care is crucial once your plants are established. Regular watering, appropriate fertilization, and vigilant pest monitoring will keep your plants healthy and productive throughout the growing season. Healthy plants not only produce earlier harvests but also continue producing longer into the fall, maximizing your overall tomato yield. The journey to achieving that perfect early tomato harvest is both an art and a science, requiring observation, patience, and a willingness to adapt your approach based on your garden's unique conditions. With the strategies outlined in this guide, you're well equipped to enjoy homegrown tomatoes weeks ahead of your neighbors, savoring the sweet taste of gardening success. If you found this guide helpful for planning your early tomato harvest, please subscribe to Smart Garden for more in-depth gardening guides, and share this video with fellow gardeners who are eager to get the most from their tomato growing efforts. Your support helps us continue creating valuable content for the gardening community, and we'd love to hear about your early harvest successes in the comments below.